Remote work is almost dead, and the killer is your HR department. Alright, that was a bit much. I don't personally think remote work is going anywhere, but it is an important discussion to have. When we're talking about mistakes people make when it comes to remote work, we're almost always highlighting managers and organizations as a whole, but we're never focusing on HR. That's usually because HR is a huge positive proponent of remote work, and they deserve all the praise for it. But today we're focusing on 5 common mistakes HR departments make when it comes to remote work, and how those mistakes can be avoided. But before we get to the list, I just want to say that even though remote work has been around for some time now, it is still a very complex process with loads of intricacies and nuances, and we know that all the HR departments out there are doing their absolute best. So everything we're saying in this list, we're saying with love, appreciation, and all the respect in the world. That being said, let's get right to the list. Mistake number 1, not implementing a proper recognition system. When companies are working remote, those organic opportunities for recognition are few and far between. There are less opportunities for praising someone publicly or in a meeting, or simply just giving them a pat on the back. And if HR doesn't get involved in the recognition process and simply leaves it to the managers to recognize their employees when they feel like it, things are not going to get any easier, because remote workplaces are not very conducive to recognition. So remote employees are much more likely to feel that their efforts are not being appreciated. So how does an HR department solve this? Well, there are tons of amazing recognition tools out there that you can implement in your organization, like this. We've talked about this at length, and if you want to find out how you can implement a rewards and recognition software inside Microsoft Teams, we have a video for that you should probably check out. With that said, let's move on. Number 2, a lack of structured check-ins and regular one-on-one meetings. In a remote workplace, silence doesn't always mean that things are okay. In fact, it might be a sign of disconnect. In an office setting, there are thousands and thousands of micro touch points between managers and their direct reports. But when you're working remote, if you're not enforcing a structure of regular one-on-ones, you are losing those moments. And without those regular touch points, feedback gets delayed, blockers go unnoticed, and those little frustrations people might have against each other, they bubble over into full-blown disengagement and conflicts. So whatever your main remote communication platform is, whether it's Zoom, Slack, Microsoft Teams, or whatever, you need to get in on those calendars and schedule regular check-ins between managers and direct reports, because you know that they're not going to do it themselves. Number 3 on our list, treating workplace culture as an in-office perk. Now, when we're talking about remote work, most of us think just remote-only organizations. Well, that's not true. Many organizations have in-office workers, while they have some others working remotely. And while those in the office might be benefiting from a strong office or workplace culture, those working remotely are often left in the sidelines. Now, when I say workplace culture, I don't mean a ping pong table or your office snacks or pizza parties. Workplace culture goes deeper than that. It's about forming connections and strong relationships between employees. And this affects more than just morale, because subconsciously, if people are not involved in those strong relationships, who knows if they will be considered for those internal opportunities when they show up. When remote employees aren't considered a part of the company's culture, slowly but surely an unconscious bias starts forming about them. And even though this may be a completely unconscious and unnoticed bias for you, they're noticing it. So how do you fix this? Well, there are tons of amazing tools out there you can use to create a digital culture hub. Just as an example, Teamflect very recently released its modern version of the company intranet with a company newsfeed, resource hub, and internal job boards, as well as anonymous message boxes. It's a great tool to connect all your employees regardless of location. Another great and fun application you can use is Coffee Pals. It connects remote employees randomly at designated hours so they can simply have coffee with each other. We've talked about remote team building apps in another video in detail, and we will link that in the description as well. Number 4, not equipping your managers for remote leadership. And in case you haven't noticed, there's a theme on this list. It's not necessarily about the mistakes HR departments are making directly, but more about not empowering their teams correctly. And if you've spent even a day in HR, you will know that a surprising amount of your workload is spent figuring out how you can stop other people from making each other's lives hard. Love it. Look, leadership skills are important and there are some amazing leadership trainings out there, but conventional leadership and leading remote teams are two different things. There are certainly overlaps and there are certainly skills that can be transferred from one to the other, but not treating remote employee leadership as the completely different beast that it is can cost you dearly. So when you're scheduling your next batch of leadership or management training programs, just keep in mind that managing remote employees requires different competencies and skills. And last but certainly not least on our list is an over-reliance on software. And remember, I'm saying this as a part of Teamflect, arguably the best HR software in the Microsoft Teams ecosystem. It's not about the tool, it's about you. There are tons of amazing software solutions out there, and finding the right solution for your organization is extremely important, but at the end of the day, it's about you and it's about your people. And if your people are not using the software properly or not looking at the software at all, then it's not worth a lot. Look, do I believe that Teamflect makes a killer HR software? Yes, I do, and we have the customer success stories to prove it. But if you read any of those stories, you will know that it's never just about Teamflect. It's about the amazing HR people implementing Teamflect. And without them, we wouldn't be worth much. So just keep in mind that no matter which tool you're using, it's still about you and it's still about your people. But that about brings us to the end of this video. What did you think? What did I miss? What are some other mistakes HR seems to make when it comes to remote work? Just let me know in the comments. Guys, we release helpful content like this one every single week. Subscribe so you don't miss any of it. And if you want to try the best HR software in the Microsoft ecosystem, Teamflect, for absolutely free, you can always click the link in the description. Bye-bye.